brain tumor journey. So a little over a year ago in March, I had a craniotomy to remove a very large, benign tumor in my brain. I had tripped and fell down on a dog walk. And when they were scanning my head to see if I had a concussion or if I had broken my nose or my cheek, I was covered in blood. They thought for sure I had broken something. They found what they called an incidental finding, which was the tumor in my brain. It was a 5 by 5 by 6 centimeter tumor, which is considered a jumbo size, and my surgeon keeps referring to it as it was just so big. So I had an 8-hour surgery on it last year, and then in March, and they were able to get half of it. It was too embedded and too deep, and I saw my surgeon again this week, and he kind of described it again to me, and he said that when he said usually the meningiomas are kind of on the outside of the brain, but mine had been there for so long unnoticed that when he got in there, it had kind of burrowed into some of my brain matter. And so when he was cutting into it, there was a very narrow corridor that he could use to attack it. And he was trying very hard not to damage any major vessels, blood vessels, or there was a sinus vein that was there that he talked about. I don't know what all those do. I'm not a medical profession. I'm just repeating what the doctor said to me. But he said that the brain matter kept flopping over on it, and it was hard to get at. He also said that it was very, very old and hard, and so it was difficult to debulk, which is when they suck out the middle of the tumor. And so he was able to get about half of it out. He said that he tried really hard to get all of it, but I had been under for 8 hours, and that's kind of the limit for what they safely want to do when somebody's under anesthesia for brain surgery. So that was a year ago. And then in June of last year, I started radiation to either stop the growth of the tumor or, even better, hopefully to shrink it. And that takes about a year to fully do its thing. And so in June and July, I had 30 consecutive rounds, not counting weekends, of radiation to that spot. And there's also radio surgery that's available, but I didn't get that. My insurance wanted me to do the regular radiation. So that's what I did. So I did 60 rounds of that. My hair fell out in a pretty wide swath in the back. I've got other videos that show that. It's mostly grown back now. But as kind of just to let you know, if you're going through this, where I'm at, it's April of the following year. My hair has grown back. My motor skills have come back. The tumor in my brain was in my vision center. It was in my left occipital lobe. And so that was the risk that they were worried about, was that if we left it alone, it was going to make me go blind. I was going to lose my vision because that's where it was. It was in where all my vision happens. And I have lost some of my peripheral vision, but I've regained a lot of what I lost initially after the surgery. After the surgery was pretty rough, but I've recovered very quickly. The first month after the surgery, I thought I was in trouble. I was afraid I'd never go back to work. I was afraid I'd never drive again. I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to feed myself without spilling food all over myself forever. But a lot of my fine motor skills that I had lost during the surgery came back, and I'm able to see well enough to drive. My reaction are good. My large motor skills are good. I'm not as forgetful. My brain's working better. I was having hallucinations where I would see things fly out of the sides of my vision, and that's not happening anymore. And so I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling probably as good as I did before the surgery when I was unaware. And I did go have a scan last week, and I followed up with my surgeon yesterday. And he told me that it's not growing It hasn't gotten any bigger. So the radiation did help with that. And the radiation is still working. He said it takes about 2 years to see the full effects of the radiation. So I'm not even at the 1-year mark. So I'm still hopeful that it will break it up a little bit, maybe make it smaller. But the course of action now is to monitor it. There's no further surgery in my near future. And he just wants to take a look at it in 6 months and just make sure hasn't started growing again. But other than that, he said that because I'm doing so well, let's just leave it alone for a little bit and wait and see. And that was exactly what I wanted to see. I am not up for another surgery at this time. I don't have the money saved up to be able to take 3 months off from work or more, because you just never know what a brain surgery is going to leave you looking like. So I was very glad that he said it before I could, that we're not going to worry about another surgery right now. We're not going to worry about any other type of radiation or any other treatments. We are just going to leave me alone, which is exactly what I want. And we're going to check back in 6 months. So my next 6 months, I am just going to focus on regaining my strength, because I haven't lifted weights in a year because they told me not to. So I was cleared for that. I can go back to the gym. I can start lifting again. And I'm going to eat as healthy as possible and give my brain its best chance at as good a recovery as possible. And I really do feel as good as I ever did. I'm back to work. I'm able to walk dogs. I'm able to enjoy life. And that's my follow-up. So if you're going through this and you're scared, there's hope. You do what you can, and not everybody will have the same recovery or the same outcome, but I had a really good outcome. The surgery was not easy. The recovery was not easy, but it was relatively short. It was really much shorter than I thought it would be. Like I said, the first month after the surgery was really rough, but the second month was so much better. And the third month, I went back to work. So, I'm not going to tell you don't be afraid if you're going through this, because I don't think that's even possible. But hang in there and don't get too freaked out. And